Okay, in this video, we'll start drawing our floor. So now we've set up our workspace. It's important to always save what we're doing. So it's always a good idea to come up here, name your project. I'm going to name it Tower. Okay. And save it somewhere. Okay. So it now names the tower. It saved it in the file I want it to save. Okay, so we are now ready to build our floor. And the first thing we want to do is since we're looking at it from the top-down view, again, we're looking at our views here, top view. Okay, and we're working between the green and the red axis. I'm going to select my rectangle tool here. It's the top one. Good idea always to start building from the origin. So if you lose track of where you're putting something, you can always find it at the origin. I click at the origin and drag out my rectangle to any dimension I want. And if I haven't done anything else after I've clicked, it will show your dimensions down here, and I can change those dimensions by simply typing. So I'm going to type in 10 inches, and since this is a rectangle, you have to put a comma between the next dimension and another 10 inches. So it's 10 inches, comma 10 inches. Press enter, and it will resize it exactly to 10 inch by 10 inch. Now this particular drawing is just too small for me to view, so I'm going to change the view by zooming in on it. You can zoom in a number of different ways. The zoom tool here uses your trackpad or your center mouse wheel, or you can use the zoom window here or the zoom extends button, which will bring everything in your drawing into one screen. So I'm just going to use this box here, and I'm going to draw a box around it, click on it. I have now created my view. Okay, always a good idea to click on select to get the tool out of zooming. All right, so now I have a 10 by 10 box, and it's a drawing that's a flat plane. So when SketchUp creates a drawing, okay, a drawing is made up of a number of elements. We have a line here, a line here, a line here, a line here, and a line here. We also have this center face. So this box actually is created out of 5 different elements, and each element is connected to the next, and you can select each element individually. Now this is important to understand because if I want to move this entire box, okay, I need to select the entire box to move it. So I need to either click away and draw a box that selects everything. So you see everything is highlighted. I can't just click in one location, expect everything to be highlighted. It is not. So if I click once here, I've only selected this face. I've not selected these edges. Okay, I've selected this edge, I've selected this edge. Now you can marry edges together by holding down the control button when you click, and you can select multiple edges or multiple faces. Okay, or you can select everything by clicking multiple times. And let me show you what I mean by this. So the first time you click something, it only selects that item. If you click it twice, it selects the item and the bounding edges of that item. So when I double clicked, if I double click on a line, it selects the line and what is connected to it. So notice it only selected the line and this face. Okay, it did not select this line, this line, and this line. Okay, if I select the middle and double click, it selects the face and all 4 lines. Okay, so that's a single click and a double click. Now there's also a triple click, and that is when it's a 3D object. Right now we only have a 2D object. We have a flat drawing only. And you can tell that by changing the view. If I change the view to a front view, as you see, it's got no height whatsoever. It's only a flat drawing, flat line. Okay, so again, I'm going to change back to the top view. So what I need to do is put a center circle in this drawing. Okay. And I'm going to select here under the rectangle, the circle tool, which is in the middle. And I'm going to try and find the center. Now, I can't find the center by simply hovering around it. SketchUp won't understand that. Okay. It only tells me that I'm on the face or I'm on the line. Okay. Now, lines, it will always be able to find a corner, which is an endpoint, or a midpoint. So it will always snap to those points. So by knowing that I can go to the midpoint, okay, if I hover over this midpoint, okay, and then I drag my cursor down and I'm on the green plane, a dotted green line will show up. That means I'm exactly in line with that point. Now, that's a way that SketchUp will inference or reference that point in order to get another point that's referencing it. Okay. In this case, since I need the center, I need to reference both midpoints. So I need to hover over one midpoint, hover over another midpoint, okay, and draw out my lines. And usually it will work that both lines will come together. And if you see that, both the green and red is dotted, and therefore I have the center. I now click there. I've established the center. I've clicked once, right? So now I can drag out and create my radius of my circle. Okay, so just like I created the box by one clicking and dragging out, okay, to any dimension, I can then change my radius by typing in my radius. Since this is a 1-inch diameter circle I want to do, the radius is half that, so I need to type in 0.5. So I've now typed in 0.5, pressed enter, created a 1-inch diameter hole. And you can check that by bisecting this line with the pencil tool if you want. And you see that's 1 inch, okay? Or you can use the measuring tool here, okay, and find, tells you the diameter is 1 inch, okay? Or I can use the tape measure tool here. And again, draw corner to corner, and it's 1 inch, okay? So now I have everything drawn that I want, because one thing you need to understand is that whenever you're working in a CAD program, okay, you want to draw everything in 2 dimensions and then change it to 3 dimensions by extruding it out to a 3rd dimension, okay? So I've created the sketch that I want to make my changes to, okay? The only thing I haven't done here is created the hole. So I've made a drawing of the circle, but I haven't created the hole. So I need to eliminate the face that's inside of this circle. So I need to click on that center face, and I'm only selecting the center face. If you notice when I zoom in on it, I'm not selecting the line itself. Okay, I'm selecting the face. If I double clicked, I would select the face and the line. Okay, and that's not what I want to do. I want to just select the face. Okay, press delete, and now I've created a hole in there. Now, if you see, I'm zooming in and out, okay, very easily because I'm using a mouse, and the mouse wheel lets you zoom in and out really rapidly. So I recommend you use a mouse when you do any kind of CAD. It's just much handier than using the trackpad. Okay, so now I've created my sketch. And in the next video, I'll show you guys how to extrude to a 3rd dimension.